What's up, bro? I always wanted to make this video, and I want to address this quite common notion I've seen, and even in like premier colleges like IIT. And this is the notion that most ideas have all not most. They even argue that all ideas, everything that you could think, has already been thought of by someone before. So you won't ever think of an original or a new idea. You won't ever do anything great. This pessimism, it repels me. Now, I want to address this. You are telling me that we had millions of years of human life, human species, and only recently, we have thousands of years when we finally became sophisticated enough, and religion and kingdoms and wars started. We had so much superstition and such. So there was invention at that time too, like the Bronze Age, inventing fire and shit. So there was a lot of sophistication there, but it's only now, only been thousands of years, that we finally became sophisticated enough. And even then, we had so much superstition, religion and all. It's only been like 5 or 600 years of, not even 600 years. If we actually boil it down to, this was when actual rigorous scientific literacy started, rigorous scientific thinking started. It's only been 300 years. It's only been and most of the progress that we see in our day-to-day lives today, that's been done in just 100 years. So overall, we had just 300 years of rigorous scientific thinking. And you are telling me that 300 years was enough. It was enough to discover everything, and there is nothing left to discover anymore. I just can't come to believe that 300 years, Earth is billions of years old and millions of years of human species, and we didn't do shit, and just 300 years are enough to discover everything. That's just a dumb logic. You know what? Okay, I'll give you an example. So let me ask you two questions. First, we all know tornadoes and hurricanes, right? We've seen it in cartoons mostly, but some of you might have experienced the real horror of it. So yeah, we know what tornadoes and hurricanes are, and the most common notion is that don't get too close to a hurricane or a tornado because it will pull you inside and then swirl you up in the outer space. Second question, it is related to the first one. Why do rivers meander? If you've done geography in your class 8 or 9, you would remember that rivers don't always go in a straight path. They curve in between to form these bow lakes. But why does that happen? Why can't just river go in a straight line? So these are two questions, and these seem like really simple ones. And when I read about them, I thought maybe Newton or someone related to him, maybe one of his descendants or something. I thought they would have answered it, or maybe Galileo, or maybe Newton or someone like that. I honestly thought Newton was the one that answered it because he's such a dope. So I thought Newton would have answered it, and I was shocked to find out that it was Einstein. He was in 1900s and Newton was in 1400, I guess, or 1500. So 400-year difference, and you're telling me that no one thought of this question, no one thought of answering it, and the answer is relatively simple. It's not as complicated. So yeah, Einstein answered it, and you can check it out if you want to. I won't answer the question in this video. So what I wanted to convey with this is that no, it's not that all questions have been answered. It's not that everything has been discovered. As you can see from this example, what has happened is, as more and more scientists come, it would become obviously harder to find simple questions and simple answers to those questions. So everything or most of the things that had a simple answer that we could explain, okay, why this happens in our day-to-day lives, why do we observe this? So the simple answers have been found. The base has been set. The base is not everything. There is still a mountain to be created, and I'm optimistic about it. I am very optimistic that okay, we've just given like 300 years of rigorous scientific approach, rigorous scientific thinking. Give scientific thinking another 1,000 or 2,000 years or 3,000 years, and let's see where it gets us. And I'm really optimistic about it. So what I want to convey you with this video is that it has become harder to find simple answers to simple questions that we have in our day-to-day lives. They've already been answered because they form the base of knowledge. They are not the whole knowledge that has to, and the base has been almost completely formed. That is what has happened. Now you have to use that base, or maybe create another base to, like, now what we need is to create a fucking monument above the base that already exists because of the scientists that came previously. And obviously it would be harder to find it because you would need more divergent thinking. You would need to know almost everything, a little bit of almost everything of the base, so you can actually use that to find new ideas. You can use your divergent thinking to find new ideas or form new connections that weren't formed before. And obviously they weren't formed before because the base didn't exist. They all were busy making the base, and now when the base has been done, now it's our task to, now you have to build the stories. You have to start it. That is what has happened. It's not that everything has been discovered. Be optimistic about it, bro. You're telling me that 300 years was enough to discover everything that the universe has to offer? It's bullshit. And another thing, often, now I am a literary freak. I read a lot of books. I like to read stories. I don't read them now, but yeah, sometimes I do. So I like to read novels and shit and stories. So I often hear this thing that most of the stories that you would ever write or you would ever read are just a copy of some other old dude's idea. The ideas, all literary ideas have already been thought of. You can't think of a new literary idea now, and that is bullshit too. What has happened is the base has already been covered, and now to really think of an original idea, you would have to use base and connect other dots. Like I'd give you an example. My favorite writer, and my favorite modern writer is, and he has a YouTube channel, you can check it out, Exurbia, EXURB1A. You can check his videos out. And now I'm not rich enough to afford his books, but he does have many stories in his own YouTube channel, and he sometimes narrates his own stories that he wrote in his book in his YouTube videos. So I want you to check it out, like his recent videos, like the Big Oxygen one. All I can say about him is that I never thought language could be used in such a way. Stories are out of this world. All I can say is just that he's a literary genius, and I would love you to check him out if you are a literary fanatic. So yeah, this was this video. This became a little rant, and yeah, this rant is needed. No, it's not that all ideas have been thought of. You are just lazy. You just don't want to learn so much. You just want a normal life. All you want is that, okay, tell me what to do. I don't want to study. I don't want to learn knowledge. I don't want to have knowledge just for its own sake. I don't like learning for its sake. I would do learning as a means to an end. Okay, tell me how this would help me and I would do it. This is not how you would discover ideas. You would have to actually learn a lot in order to then combine everything you've learned to form a new idea. That is what is needed now. It's not that all ideas have been thought of, it's just that the base has been formed.